Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for stopping in today. I appreciate you being here. And of course, as soon as I come on, I start hearing wind picking up and rain. Hey, Betty, how's it going? Thanks for being here, my friend. I hope all is well. Right. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Z, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Yeah, hopefully, it rained. It's starting to rain and the winds are picking up. I can hear the wind howling outside. So hopefully, we don't have any problems, but I do have a look backup plan. Rock the boat. Welcome in, my friend. Welcome in. My co-partner in crime, controversial cruising, Scott. Welcome in. Always a pleasure to see you and talk to you. So what has everybody been up to today? Today, the topic is going to be bucket list cruises. I don't know. I don't know who even thought about like cruises or trips. Um, but now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to think more about bucket list ideas. Let's see. Oops, what I see? Bill, I love the shirt. Well, thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Rock the Boat is out there working, and I'm gonna say listening because I would assume he's looking at work and listening to us. But I appreciate you being here. Exploring with Eric, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. It's been partly sunny all day long until right now. Right at this very moment, I'm hearing the rain hit the window and the wind blowing. Thank you, Scott. Scott is telling everybody to hit that like button, and if you can, please share me out, as I am Betty J. Gathers would say, to help us grow. It would be greatly appreciated. We are about to get this party started. Scott is talking about it's finally under 100. Look at you. Look at you. I'm glad. I mean, again, it's before you know it, it'll be fall time and you'll be in the low 90s. You never know. You never know. Well, you do know. If you live in Arizona and Texas and in the summertime, it's going to be hot. Just like in the wintertime, in Michigan, it's going to get cold. We are going ahead and get started on the topic for the day. Scott, I got my notes. Scott is making me more conscious of having an outline of what you want to do. So, Scott, I appreciate you. And we're going to start with what is a bucket list cruise or a bucket list trip? I'm going to say cruise, but it could be a trip. Some people, cruising may not be their thing. For me, I love cruising, so I'm always thinking about cruising. But bucket list trips or cruising could be different for different people. Everybody, sees life differently. If you're a first time cruiser, being on a cruise to the Caribbean, that might be your bucket list. That might be, hey, Alicia. Hey, Elisa, welcome in. So that might be your bucket list. As you get more experience in traveling and things like that, where you kind of expand it and you might dream bigger. If that makes sense to everybody, you dream bigger once you experience something, and then it's like, man, I love the taste of that. Let me try more. So right now, I've been on like 40 cruises. Uh, my bucket. It was a bucket list cruise for me. It was from Seattle to Australia, and it was a 23-day cruise. That was in 2022. And if you go back and look at my videos, that was the trip of a lifetime. Was the way I described it. It was a trip of a lifetime. Never in a million years when I was younger would I have thought I was taking a 23-day cruise to Australia from Seattle. Got a great price from Carnival. I loved it. I loved it. Then the following year, I was blessed enough where I did a 21-day trip from Brisbane, Australia to Seattle. And then I did a back to back, and my son came on the last part, the last 7 days, and went to Alaska. So it was a 29-day basically cruise, 28, 29 days. That now is my greatest bucket list cruise. Excuse me about that. But again, as I said, now, for me, that was, hey, controversial. Appreciate that so much. Thank you. I don't have the fire. I'm sorry. I don't have the fireworks. Pew, 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 pew. I'm going to do like Betty. Pew, 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 pew. I appreciate that, Scott. I hope you like the fireworks. Again, now, that trip, probably sounded like it was a pretty good trip. 28, 29 days at sea on the Luminosa. My son came on the last 7 days, went to Alaska, which was one of the greatest places ever on Earth. You might think that was, like the dream bucket cruise. And again, right now is probably my greatest trip. However, in my top 5 cruises, and I'm not going to say a bucket list, but it was top 5. I've been on 43 cruises. Top 5 I did on one of the oldest Royal Caribbean ships that's out there, Enchantment of the Seas. It was probably built in the 90s, if not the 90s, early 2000s. It was a charter cruise going to the Caribbean, but it was a charter cruise. Sheila E. charter cruise. Sheila E. is a musician, and people that follow me know I love Prince, and that cruise was one of my greatest cruises ever. Not quite better than Alaska, not quite better than the Trans-Pacific cruises. It was up there, top 5, maybe top 4 as of right now. And again, an old ship. I mean, most people say, a ship that old, and that's one of your greatest cruises ever. Yeah, that was one of the greatest cruises ever. If you're going to start planning like bucket list cruises now, which is what I'm doing, I start. If you looked at the thumbnail for this, matter of fact, there's a poll. If you don't mind answering the poll at the top of the chat, probably. What's your bucket list cruise? The 3 that I put on there are kind of like my bucket list cruises, but then there's other. Type other or type it in the chat. What your bucket list cruise would be? See me traveling. Welcome in. I always want to say CME. See me traveling. Welcome in. Thanks for coming in, Kurt or Marcia. Appreciate you being here. I am starting to do research right now on some bucket list cruises. I mean, again, it's tough right now. My bucket list cruise is a Nile River cruise. It's a Nile River cruise, and I just because you're cruising down the Nile, I'm just the history, looking at the Sphinx and the pyramids and the temples and I mean, my goodness, just the history. That's number 1 on my bucket list right now. See Me Traveling says, wish the war would end. Love to visit Russia. That would be a great one. St. Petersburg, that would be a good one. Russia and Baltic Sea. After to you, Bill. I mean, again, that I think that would be a great cruise. I meant afternoon. Okay, I kind of thought that's what you meant. See me traveling. But again, thank you so much. Alisa, other a trip to Australia. I enjoyed it. Again, it 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, it was my trip of a lifetime to take a cruise ship from Sydney. I mean, from Seattle to Sydney was a dream come true, and I never thought I would have a chance to do it, and I did it. So if you get a chance, do it, but start planning. Controversial cruising. I would love to go to Japan for a cruise. Apart from that, I shared on last night's show. Japan culture seems so cool. It does. Japan is actually, let me see, one, two, three. It's number 5 on my list. I'm gonna go down my list a little bit later, Scott. But no, Japan is there. If I got a chance to do Japan, I'd like to do it. I would like to do it. For me, I'm coming to find out that planning is a key. When you start doing, your research on these different cruises, do you need a visa? Do you need any shots? Do you need, special passes? Whatever you might need, you got to do your research so you know what you have to take on that cruise. Destination Fun, welcome in, my friend. Rock the Boat says, I agree. Japan is high on the list. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's when you start cruising overseas, and I'm crazy for Carnival. But they weren't very, very good at answering questions. Everybody in Carnival seemed to have a different answer. Like, do I need a visa? Do I need health, medical? Do I need this? Do I need? And they weren't very good. One would say no. One would say you should be fine. One would say if you have health coverage at home, you're good. I mean, they had so many different answers, and you would think they would be better at that. So do your research. You can't depend on other people. And for goodness sake, I mean, you could take some suggestions from Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Try to find out from the company themselves, and take down names, numbers of who you talk to get that information. So as I said, the Nile River cruise right now, number 1 on my list. Again, just for the history. Everybody's not going to be like that. Some people, it might be Alaska. Some people, it might be just on the other side, or going on the West Coast and cruising to Cabo San Lucas. You never know. See Me Traveling says soon Europe Union are changing the passport visa requirements. It should be. We do it now here, so when they come over here, they have to do it. Generally, it's just a simple form. It's like Australia. Very simple visa. If you haven't been arrested, if you've been arrested, then you run into a little bit of problem. It takes a little bit longer. My visa, I got back within an hour probably. Knock on wood. Next time I go, I can still do an hour. You never know. The next thing, once you do your planning and find out where you want to go, is how long you want to go. Once I started doing these longer cruises, I fell in love with longer cruises. I mean, I guess you can do a back to back. That would be nice if you did like 2 different itineraries, like a Eastern Caribbean, a Western Caribbean. But for me, these longer cruises, the Trans-Pacific, the Transatlantic, those are type of cruises that I'm looking at now. And I'm not talking group cruises. I guess a group cruise could be your bucket list cruise. I'm going to take those off my list right now. Usually, I don't have group cruises as my bucket list cruise. I do want to meet everybody, but it's not my bucket list. I'm not, keeping me up at night dreaming about the cruise. Controversial cruising. What happens if you book one of those cruises and fail to do the visas and or a prep step? See, the common sense in me would say they wouldn't let you on the ship. When I did the Seattle to Australia, we had people get off. They had to get off the ship because we stopped in Hawaii first before we got to Australia. So some people had to get off the ship in Hawaii because their visa wasn't approved. So how they got away with even getting on the ship, I don't know. That's something you'd have to take up with Carnival. Excuse me. Oh, wait. Hold on. Did I see something there? Happy birthday, see me traveling. Well, whose birthday is it? Marsha, Kurt, whose birthday? The channel? Who we want to know? Mike Clock, you're always late. Oh, just kidding, Mike. Mike, you're never late. You are never late, Mike. It's always good to see you, my friend. Mike, when I'm telling you about my Nile River cruise, he's one person that spoke up that he's interested. I don't know if we can work out the dates and everything that we maybe go together, but he's interested in Nile River cruise. And again, people, if you haven't done it, answer the question, the poll question when you came in. I'm just curious what people's destination bucket list cruises are. I just wonder what it is. I actually have a poll question on my community tab. Would you take a Nile River cruise? I don't know, 10, 15 people have probably answered that question. And I'm surprised the majority have been yes. They would take a Nile River cruise. And I didn't think it would be that high. The one problem, you have, I'm retired now. So doing a longer cruise, not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. If I want to go for 30 days, I go for 30 days. No place to be. But when you start planning these bucket list cruises like that, long cruises, you have to start making plans to stop the mail, notify your banks, notify your landlord or your family. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to go through to prepare for it. It's not just pack up and leave. The bills have to be paid, the light bill, the gas bill. You have to, all these things have to be taken care of before you leave, or have somebody do it for you, but again, you have to set it up. Rock the boat. We want to do a 10-day or longer cruises, but we have to wait until we retire for good. Yeah, it's tough when you have limited amount of time off. It's tough. No, destinations are the bucket list, and if others came, it would be a bonus. Yes, yes. That's kind of the way that I feel like about my Nile River cruise. Even though, again, like I said, I got more positive about the Nile River cruise than I thought. So I may try to put something together, and that way you can just go over to Egypt with people that kind of know, at least from YouTube. You kind of know. So I think that would be a good idea, and that's why I want to go with Clock if he goes, or if we can arrange it together. It would be I think advantageous for both of us. Elisa, the destination. Mike speaking. I'm just going down in the chat, catching up with the chat real quick. Clock is one that voted for it. I assume that, Mike. Mike, everyone on that list is on my. It's in the works. Everyone on that list is in the works, besides the other, and actually the other's probably in the work. Z says a back-to-back Asia cruise. Now back to Asia. Now you're probably talking about a long flight over there, Z. I don't know. Are you up to it? It's gonna be. But again, that is that is number 5. An Asian cruise is number 5. Bill Nile, the cruise guy. Okay. I see where you're going with that, Scott. I see where you're going. And I'm caught up in the chat. Look at that. Betty would be so proud of me. And if you haven't hit the like button, please go ahead and hit the like button for me. It's supposed to help the channel grow, help the algorithm. If you can share me out, and maybe get a couple more people in here. Right now we have, I think, about 11. It looks like about 11. So if you can share me out, I would appreciate it. Well, and then from that topic, like going with the group, like I was just saying, now you got to make a choice. Like for me, I do a lot of cruises solo. Not all of them, but I do a lot of cruises solo. These bucket list cruises, is that something you want to do solo? Is that something you want to do by yourself? It all depends. I've done it. I did the Australia ones by myself, but it would have been a lot of fun having somebody else there with me, and having somebody even like to just take pictures with a monument. It would have been just nice having somebody there, and you'll have people snap your pictures, but usually it's like one snap and you're done. It's not like you can sit there and plan your shot out. Bam Manola's in the house. Welcome in, Bam Manola. Hope you're well hydrated for the day. I know you've been out there in that heat. So that's a choice you should think about. I mean, really think about. I know a lot of women don't like to go overseas by themselves. A few that I know do, but most won't. They want to go with a group or something. So plan accordingly. And Facebook is a good place to start as far as trying to find groups. Keisha's in the house. Welcome in, Keisha. Now we're going to get into my bucket list cruises. What I'm planning on right now, the Nile River. I'm in the works of working on it and trying to price it out. They don't seem that expensive. The biggest expense is probably going to be the airfare there. But can you imagine? I don't know if it means the same to you guys as it does to me, but the Nile River and looking at the ancient artifacts that are over there, and just going back to a different age and time. To me, again, that's amazing. That's what I live for right now. As far as bucket list trips and cruises, is doing things like that. And what opened my eyes to that was the Alaskan cruise that I did. You know what? That's a good segue. I'm going to play something from my Alaska cruise. Not sorry. Yeah, my Alaskan cruise. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I meant to play the sound, but I didn't. I don't think I I played the sound. But again, that's what I'm trying to do now. That's a video from one of my experiences on Alaskan cruise. I did a helicopter ride where I was able to go up to. Um, Hold on 1 second. That was one where I was able to go up on a helicopter ride, and I just enjoyed it so much. Oh, you heard sound with it. Okay, good. I couldn't hear. I got everything muted because I didn't want to echo out and everything, so I couldn't hear it. Um, that has really like changed the way I'm looking at cruising. That one trip, this last time I went, that 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 changed the way that I'm looking at traveling. Because that site, even though I was afraid, I was scared to death. I don't like heights, and anyway, but again, that video uh, made me want to experience more and see more and do more and learn histories. Uh, Going to Europe, and Europe, they don't tear down their old buildings. They actually go over there, renovate, and you can go back and look at the history of some of their buildings. I was lucky enough to go to Paris for a while, and I went over to Italy for a while. I didn't spend as much time as I wanted to over there, but again, doing trips like that, it just opens your mind up to different things. And that Alaskan cruise, that helicopter cruise in particular, um, made me want to get out and see more and do more. And it's going to mean spending more time out. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. So now is my number one. My next one is Greece. It's high on my list, but what makes it so number two on my list is it's on my daughter's bucket list too. So we actually booked a Mediterranean cruise that stops. Her dream is Santorini, Greece. So we booked in September of next year, September 19th, which is why I can't do the double leg of the Utopia, because I'm going to go to Greece with my daughter, and she's taking her kids. Can you imagine being 4 years old? Well, 4 and 2. Well, no, she'd be 5 and 2, going to Greece. I mean, the 5-year-old might remember a couple of little pieces. The 2-year-old probably won't remember anything. But again, that's it's her bucket list cruise, and now I get to do it with my daughter, with my son. That's it. Probably should be number one. It's not, but it probably should be. I'm trying to convince my son to go to the Nile River cruise, but again, you're talking about 10, 12 days. You'd have to take off work and things like that. So a lot of younger people at work can't do that. But that's again, number two on my list. Number three is Norway. Did you see that helicopter ride I just went on? I thought it was amazing. Hopefully you thought it was amazing. Hey, Travel Adventures with Eric B. This is this man. He's goals right here. He travels the world. Eric B. goes all over Europe. He's been there. You ask him about someplace in Europe, he's probably been there. So he's goals, people. That helicopter ride I just showed you for Alaska. I looked at some videos from Norway, and those videos from Norway looked like that on steroids. I mean, I can't even imagine how beautiful Norway is. It looks like, Alaska's older brother or sister. And I can't wait to go there. I can't wait to go to Norway. Next on my list, and again, this comes as a kind of a surprise because I don't like cold weather. I want to go to Antarctica. I looked at about a 16-day cruise to Antarctica. I wish I could afford it where I can get off and get on land, or ice in this case, to get when I go down there. Can't afford that, but I do. I want to go around the Cape Horn and go down there to Antarctica and just look at the sights down there. That's another. I mean, you're talking what is it? Number 4 on my list. I can't imagine. And again, I'm looking at somebody else's videos, but again, I can't imagine seeing what I saw in Alaska and somebody telling me, yeah, no, Norway looks like Alaska on steroids. And as much as I love Alaska, I want to go. Yeah, Lisa, I'm expecting 70 degrees like I did in Alaska, but I want to see it. And I'm sure there's going to be some rough weather, rough seas. But again, that's why it's a bucket list. That's why it's a bucket for me. That's why it's a bucket list. I've done the Caribbean. I mean, now since I started doing YouTube, I pay more attention. If you had seen me like a year and a half ago going to the Caribbean, I wouldn't care where I went. They all looked alike to me. Every place in the Caribbean looked alike to me. I didn't pay attention. A bar was a bar. A beach was a beach. Well, not quite. Some had rocky coral reefs down there where you're stepping on in. But anyway, you get my point. That was all I wanted. But then I started paying closer attention, and now I realize I want other things. I want things that will be a memory that will last forever. And because I feel right now, people ask me, have you ever been to Bermuda? Yeah, I went 10 years ago or whatever. I went. What do you remember about it? Not much. Somewhere I think they had a beach. I don't remember much about it. Alaska? Nope. Lifetime. We'll always remember Alaska. The helicopter ride, we'll always remember. I'm assuming the Nile River will be something that I'll never forget. Going to Rome, visiting the Colosseum, I'll never forget. Going to see the Eiffel Tower, something I'll never forget. Hold on. Boop. Eiffel Tower lit up at night. I mean, certain things you don't forget. And that's what I'm doing now. That's when you hear me talk about my bucket list, or you ever hear me talk about bucket list cruises, these are what I'm talking about. And this is what I want to start planning. Whether I make them group cruises or not, I don't know, but we shall see. And another thing that I want to do is start sharing my adventures more with people. YouTube is it's fun, but you have to evolve sometimes. And I want to evolve and share my experiences with people. The more I come on here and do lives, and the more I talk to different people and talk about my experiences in life and my travels. I mean, I've done it and I don't really think a lot about it at times. But then when I start talking to people, it's like, wow, I've been blessed to be able to do this. And people have questions. Let me give them a little bit of my knowledge of what I see, of what I do. And that's what I'm going to start. I want to start doing more. So in my vlogs, and my vlogs that start coming out more, you may see a little bit more of Bill in those vlogs. Usually I like just showing the pictures of what's going on. Maybe you might get a few more, clips of Bill in those pictures. Cruising, it's fun anytime. Welcome in, my friend. And at this time, I'd like to give a shout out to a member. I do have memberships now. Embarkation Nation. They were my first member, and I'm so glad to have them being a part of my crew. It means a lot to me, and they just don't know. They really just don't know. I am going to find they actually, if you guys are looking for an Alaskan cruise and don't want to go by yourself or not sure, or you want to make sure you go with good people, Embarkation Nation, June 15th, 2025, they have an Alaskan cruise. I don't know if it'll work out for me because I have I'm trying to get through my bucket list, like by end of 25, 26. So I don't know. It may not be in the cards for me on that trip. I've been to Alaska twice, so that's kind of the reason. But I really do. I think that would be an amazing trip. So if you get a chance and you want to go to Alaska, 2025, you got time to pay for it. Contact Embarkation Nation or contact Ocean Travels, and they can give you the scoop on that cruise. if you were here yesterday and you saw Scott and I on our cruise talk show, which we do every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time and 4 p.m. Pacific time, uh, you know about Alaska and the wonderful things in Alaska and the planning that it takes to get to Alaska. Alaska, there's planning. A lot of people didn't know you should take sunscreen to Alaska. Sunscreen, you say? Yeah, sunscreen. So if you want to find out more about Alaska, you can check our conversation from yesterday out on either one of our channels. So at this point, again, anybody who just came in, if you haven't done it, answer the poll question. Also, if you could hit the like button, I would appreciate it, and share this live stream out if you can. Get a couple more people in here. I'm not going to be on a whole lot longer, but again, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have bucket list cruises they want to do? And people, I mean, if you have a bucket list cruise, dream. Don't talk about, Z had the Asian cruise, and I see me traveling, wanted to go to Russia. Russia would be a place. I hope the war ends. I mean, not just for that reason. I hope the war ends because we don't like war in this world. But if it ends, I would love to go to St. Petersburg, Russia. I would love to go. I would love to go there to see the history. Asia, Singapore. I mean, my goodness, Japan. There is a cruise going. I just can't afford it. I can't afford it. But there is like a 31-day cruise. I think the traveling checks are going to go on. So yeah, people, you're going to want to follow that channel. Get the update on their cruise. I think they're doing it in the fall. Rock the Boat, Greece is my wife's bucket list. I believe September 19th. What cruise ship? I don't remember. It's Holland America. First time I've been on Holland America too. I'm doing a 10-day Mediterranean cruise. Hits Greece. I can't wait. Tons of history over there. Can you imagine being in Greece? Anyway, Cheryl says Mediterranean cruise. That is one for a lot of people. It is for my daughter, and again, that's why we're going next year. The plan is for everybody to go next year, so we are working that out. If I can get a longer cruise, now, I think a dream cruise for me would be, I would say bucket. We'll go bucket list since we're talking about bucket list. One of those around the world tours, 100 days. Can you imagine being 100 days on a cruise ship and hitting like 50 ports? That would be amazing. I've never done an ocean to ocean cruise. Ocean to ocean meaning not a Trans-Pacific, a Panama Canal cruise. It starts off like in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale is landlocked. There's no easy way to take a ship from Fort Lauderdale to Los Angeles, California. There's no easy way. I mean, my goodness. I don't know if you didn't have the Panama Canal, which is why the Panama Canal means so much. You would have to go, 8,000 miles to get a ship from Fort Lauderdale to Los Angeles. So, I mean, the Panama Canal is one of the great wonders of the world. And don't hold me to the exact number. It's around 8,000 miles, people. Let's see what we got going on here. Clock family, Japan and Hawaii. That's what I loved about my Trans-Pacific cruise. It hit Hawaii. I had been wanting to go to Hawaii for the longest. This one hit Hawaii, but then it also hit Fiji. It hit the French Polynesian Islands, Tahiti, Moorea. Moorea is the most beautiful place. I'm convinced it's the most beautiful place on earth. I'm convinced, and it's not commercialized. So if you go to Moorea, you leave the little port area, which is nothing there. You're dealing with the locals. very, very friendly, down to earth, no crazy prices. I didn't check out what the hotel stay would be. Uh, I would like to go there. They had some huts like over the water. I would like to do that one day. But again, that since I've been there, that's a little lower on my bucket list right now. Hold on, I see something interesting here. Dewey from Dewey Destinations is doing a around the world 10-month cruise in 24 or 25. If I could afford it, let me hit Mega Millions. I know it dropped down, but I don't need $1 billion. Let me hit a for 1 million. I'd join them. And as Betty said, dream big, dream big. The world is a big place, but it's a small place. We know we all share this together, and traveling on the other side of the world, traveling. One of the things that I couldn't prove or disprove, I tried as hard as I could. Well, probably not as hard as I could, but I did try. When I went to Australia, once you cross the hemisphere and you go from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, the talk is like when you flush water, it goes in the opposite direction. So you go down there. So let's say in northern hemisphere, it goes clockwise. Southern hemisphere, it goes counterclockwise. The theory, and it's when you talk to people from Australia, most of them will not answer that question. They won't answer the question. When I was there, I'm going to the bathroom, flushing the toilets. Flushes like straight down. There's one of those hard flushes, flush straight, like if you go on a cruise ship, just straight down, just flush. I go to the sink. It won't. I can't get it high enough where it creates a swirl. So I couldn't really tell. It kind of looked like it went counterclockwise, but that could have been just my imagination. Um, I could not prove it. I could not prove whether the water swirls around differently down in Australia. When I go again, I'm gonna try, or I'm gonna pin one of the people I know from Australia up in a corner till they tell me the truth. Controversial cruising. It's a small world after all. It's, but it is. It really is. It's a cruise life. Welcome in. How you doing? Thanks for coming in, my friend. They want to know how everybody's doing. I hate to say it. I literally was. I literally was trying to go any place that had water, fill it up so I could see the swirl, and I never got my answer. I didn't spend a whole lot of time down there. It was only like a day and a half, so I didn't get a lot of time to go down there. I will tell you one thing about Australia. I went to the Australian Zoo, which is maybe about an hour outside of Brisbane, and this has nothing to do with water. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I go into the restroom. The restroom is like one door in, and they have stalls lined up, so men and women went into the same restroom. Because I walked in, and I'm looking at ladies washing their hands at the sink. I'm like, oh my goodness, I walked into the wrong bathroom, and I walked out, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh wait, what? And again, being American, um, I'm like, well, did I make a mistake? Nope, nope. So I went in there, went into a stall, and went out. I mean, nobody was freaked out, and it all worked. I mean, maybe unisex bathrooms can work. Controversial cruising. Fill it up so we can see the swirl bill. This isn't Carva. This isn't Carva. I don't know what Carva is. Maybe, but I did. I was. Trust me, Scott. I was going to get a video of it. I could not get a good video. I could not. I wanted to. That was. It was. It was high on my list. Uh, travel adventures with Eric B. Stars are like that in some Europe. Again, it works. It works. Again, if I told you, if you had a question about Europe, Eric B's your guy. Him and Darian, Germany, they're your guys. It's a cruise life. So interestingly enough, I got a comment on one of my videos saying that cruises in the Norwegian fjords will be massively restricted from 25 due to emissions from cruise ships. Oh no! Okay, Norway has just moved up the bucket list. They do try to keep it as pristine as possible. There's a park. What's the glacier park in Alaska? They're only allowing like 2 ships in there a day. I mean, that's why most cruise ships or like Carnival goes to Tracy Islands fjords. But no, there's people. You want to catch this? Mendenhall Glacier is retreating. I mean, it's retreating. So there'll be a time where you may not be able to see it, like you can now. CNS Travels, welcome in, my friend. CNS Travel, welcome in, my friend. Latoya Williams, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Yeah, get to know. I mean, apparently, get to Norway now because people look. Well, look at an Alaskan cruise and then look at the videos from Norway. It's like the mountains have grown. As I always say, they're on steroids. So let me see. What did I have? What did I have Norway down? Hold on. Let me look at my list here. I hadn't. Oh boy, I may not make it. I may not make it, but we will see. Hold on. Did I miss something there? Oh, Latoya Williams' birthday girl in 8 days. Whoop whoop. Happy early birthday, Latoya. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you in 8 days. Happy birthday, dear Latoya. Happy birthday to you in 8 days. We won't go any further. We won't go into we won't go into how old you are. We won't do that here on this channel. On deck with CB. Welcome in the house, my friend. Welcome in. So does that mean an liquid natural gas ship can still go there? I don't know. I'm assuming that's what you mean by LNG, liquid natural gas. I don't know. I know a lot of people are they're cutting down. You get some of these ports, Key West, they want to cut people down along the eastern seaboard. They want to, some cities want to cut it down. As far as the cruise travelers, because I mean, you get all these people. The ships come in there and do all the pollution that the ship brings. Just because it's in the water doesn't mean you can't really see it like on land. But yeah, there's a lot of pollution from a cruise ship. So I kind of understand it. And then some of these towns aren't built for the travel industry. Sometimes they drop you off into a city and you just flood the town, and the city people, the city folks have to deal with you. So I can understand it. Betty, that was a good birthday, but there I don't believe there is a copyright song for copyright for a birthday song. But Betty, that was good enough for a copyright. That was good enough. So yeah, so now's a good time to start looking into Norway or any place, any cold place. Alaska, Norway, Antarctica is probably a good time. Going down here the list, see if anybody I missed. Scott said 19 in the chat. Woohoo! Thank you everybody for being here. If you don't mind, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. If you can share me out, please share me out. I would appreciate it. I am going to be on here about another 11 minutes or so, talking nonsense, rambling as I like to say. Let's get ready to ramble. There are. Thank you, Betty. I'm gonna have to do what you say, Betty, and maybe start posting it up the top or something when people share me out. Thank you, Betty. I appreciate that so much. Betty has always been here for me. And every morning, if I have a question, whenever I have a question, I don't go to YouTube. I go to Betty. Betty knows it all. It's a cruise life. We sailed through Venice a few years back, but they are no longer permitted. Oh wow! You know what? It seems like I kind of remember that before the pandemic that Venice was having a problem, and they wanted to cut down the cruise ships. When you go to a lot of these places, those monuments that I mean they're swarmed with people, swarmed. And again, I mean, I forget how long I waited in line to go up the Eiffel Tower. You get swarmed. Let's see. Charlene Phelps, welcome in. Indianapolis Colts are in the house. Thanks so much for being here. Her bucket list cruise is Alaska. It should be. That Charlene, I'm telling you, if you go to Alaska and you see those sites, and if you've been on cruises, it's different because it's not the party ship. Everything is not a party ship. You have a lot of people outside just looking at the sites and taking pictures, and it's quiet. And you're surprised at how quiet it is with all these people up here because they're snapping the pictures, taking their selfies, all the good stuff, all the things that you would expect. You would love it, my friend. And we were talking about for those of you that haven't done it, if you see the poll question up top, please answer that poll question. I just want to get a feel of what people are looking for as far as cruises. If I have a strong interest in certain cruises, if it's a Norway cruise or something like that, maybe I could put together like a group cruise so that we can go together as a group. And for me, even me being solo, I would love to be like in a group with people that I kind of sort of know from YouTube. Yep. So please answer that question. As controversial says, see, this is why I like this guy. You don't know until Juneau. You get it, Juneau. Juneau is the capital of Alaska. Ha ha. Get it? Anywho, appreciate you guys all being here. Make sure you hit the like button. He cracks himself up. Great delivery. Again, controversial cruising and myself. We have a live that we do every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Come and check us out. We're both experienced cruisers. I think between us we have close to 75 cruises. We love talking cruising and things cruising related. Scott is actually getting ready to go on an Alaskan cruise, and that was our topic yesterday. Him going on an Alaskan cruise, and I'm sure for him, I mean that's something that was on the bucket list that he can mark off. Also, he just got off the Margaritaville. I want to do Margaritaville. It may not be on my bucket list, but I do want to do Margaritaville. I gotta find some way to get down there. I'm hearing the outside landscaping people coming doing the lawn. Perfect timing. Yes, in 12 days. CNS travel, you are so right. I tell people all the time, you look at the pictures and you look at the videos, it doesn't do it justice. It kind of just whets your appetite to be there. Once you get there and you breathe the Alaskan air, so to speak, it's totally different. The adrenaline and rush. I was walking one time. I took a walk to a glacier. I believe it was. Matter of fact, it was Mendenhall Glacier. There's a walking glacier, and you can walk to the glacier from the cruise ship or from a tour, whatever it was. I was walking. I had about a mile walk to get to the glacier. Something about them putting signs of beware of bears made it more interesting. The walk more interesting. It wasn't just a simple stroll. My senses were heightened. My sense of hearing was heightened. Every time I heard something rustle in the bushes, I'm jumping because I don't know what it was. Never saw a bear. I've been up there twice. I have never seen a bear. I think 5 years ago, I think I saw a bear on the coastline of one of the trips, but never saw a bear. Had never heard of anybody being attacked by a bear. But just that sign made me my senses were heightened. And so when I got to the falls, I'm on an adrenaline rush because, well, again, I'm looking for bears. But the waterfall and the water, it was just so it looked so pure, so clear, so clean. On that helicopter ride, Embarkation Nation, welcome in, my friends. And sorry we are late. You are never late. You're never late on my show, at least. Anywho, that helicopter ride I showed earlier for you guys, we actually landed on a glacier, and I was able to drink some glacier water. Like it was a little creek, little stream of water going down, and they allowed us to get down. They told us to get down and drink it. It was the freshest, clearest, cleanest water that I've ever tasted. I don't know what kind of bacteria it had in it, but it was delicious. Unfortunately, I came back, loaded everything on my laptop. I kind of had a little laptop malfunction, so a lot of my footage from that trip is no more. So again, I know you can probably hear in the background. I do apologize for that, but they have to clean the yard. So I lost a lot of that footage, but that's something that I'll never forget is drinking that water. And again, I'm going to take this back to the bucket list type deal, where kind of once in a lifetime. And for me, being able to experience that with family and friends means a lot. That means a lot. I am Embarkation Nation. I was telling everybody about your trip, June 15th, 2025. If you want to go on an Alaskan cruise, that is the cruise to be on. And if I do decide to do that, I am definitely booking on your cruise. So check out Embarkation Nation and Ocean Travels. They're who you're going to book with. Again, if I ever go back to Alaska, if I go to let me change that. In the next year and a half, that's the one that I'm booking. You had I mean, when I think of icebergs on deck with CB, I think of larger larger blocks of ice. And again, these blocks of ice, they were large because you look at them from the 15th deck looking down into the water, a half mile off the ship. You did see them, but not the real big ones. But then again, you're driving next to glaciers, which is like all ice and probably a mile deep. So you do see a lot of ice, but nothing that I was never in fear of hitting something and sinking the ship. You'd have small pieces. You'll feel the ship, or at least see the ship go through like little icebergs, small ones, and it goes through, and you can hear them. You can hear them hit the hull, but again, nothing dangerous. I don't think. But you're going to cruise with me, World America MSC. I'm going on that cruise with you guys. I just haven't booked it yet, but I'm going on that cruise with you guys, guaranteed. Hey, Destination Fun, are you going live when I get off? And again, for folks that haven't or just coming in, make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate it for me. Utopia, yeah, the Utopia is the ship I'm talking about. We are. I'm sorry if I misspoke. Utopia is the ship I'm talking about. Yes, Warm Strong Adventures at 5:10 p.m. Okay, so everybody that's in here, Destination Fun, if you could drop that link and share it out for everybody. We got 13 people still in here. Drop it out, and we're all gonna go visit Destination Fun and see what she's talking about tonight. I don't think they're going on the booze cruise, Scott. Uh, Utopia is where we're going on. Utopia. I can't wait for that ship too. MSC, and that's another thing. It's not bucket list related, but I do want to start experiencing more cruise lines. As I said, the only Royal Caribbean ship I've been on was Enchantment of the Sea, which is probably, if not the oldest, one of the oldest. Oh yes, I am too. Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's the only one that I know that we're on together. Um, but as far as bucket list cruises, the Royal Caribbean ship, again, even though it was an old ship, one of the oldest Royal Caribbean, uh, because it was a charter cruise with Sheila E. Charter Cruise, it's in the top five of all my cruises. All those Caribbean cruises. Well, this went to Caribbean islands too, but all the Caribbean cruises and everything I've done, and the different ships that I've been on as far as Carnival, that was a top five cruise because, I mean, every group that they had, I loved every group. I mean, it was like just band after band, group after group. And imagine I'm up there with Sheila E. and I'm in the front row. She actually takes my phone at one point, and I shared it out. I don't even know where I shared it out to. Probably Facebook. And she picked it up and was filming to the crowd, and we're going live, hashtag this, hashtag that, going live, and she did it on my Facebook. Of course, I think I only had two people watching at the time, but and she called me out about that. So, but again, I was on a cruise and I was able to experience that, and just so much. I just had so much fun on that cruise that it made my top five. Um, so in other words, it doesn't have to be the greatest ship ever to be the greatest cruise ever for you. This booze cruise that I'm going on in October will be probably top 10. Going on Carnival Glory, nothing special, but it goes out of New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans, but I never cruised out of New Orleans. So I'm gonna be floating down the Mississippi for 8 hours. Uh, that's gonna move it high up my list. And then when you look at the group of people that are going, it's a great bunch of small to mid-range channels. No mega channels. No, I don't think there's any channel going that anybody's going to be waiting in line to meet and greet. And it's going to be just so many different channels down there that you can talk to and collaborate with and meet with and talk. I mean, I can't wait for that cruise. I definitely, I right now, I would tell you it probably will be in my top 10 cruises of all time, one of the greatest of all time. One of these days, I'm gonna start listing like my top 10 cruises and actually give a number for them. I could probably go to top 3, 4, 5, but I'm gonna work on that. So I say that to say, get out there and enjoy yourself cruising. Knock some of those bucket list cruises off. I mean, my goodness, life is short, people. You're not promised, and that's kind of my rush now. 62 years old, even though I think I'm 32, but I'm 62. Love enjoying life, love going out. I mean, when you go on a cruise with me, you're gonna be like, why is Bill in a nightclub at 2 o'clock in the morning? Well, because it was open. Why is Bill in the casino at 3 o'clock in the morning? Because it was open. I got to pay for the cruises somehow. But I'm also the guy that again, sea days. I'm gonna sleep till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So I'm not in no rush to get up. I get up, go to brunch, and go poolside. More than likely. Okay, y'all, I gotta go get ready for our excursion. Make sure to check out our videos on Alaska. See you later. Are you in Alaska? I didn't, CB. I'm sorry if I didn't know. You're in Alaska right now. What cruise ship you going on? I know you got to go. What cruise ship are you on, and what excursion are you about to do? If you have 1 minute to tell us before you go. See, now you're getting people jealous. Now you're getting people jealous. Bruce, welcome in, my friend. Welcome in. Bruce is coming in the house. Am I the one up at 5:30 a.m. on ship? I don't do that unless I'm doing an excursion or something. Usually I'm not up that early. I'm not up that early. But see, again, you kill me, Scott, because you were up watching Jimmy the Astute Tourist this morning. And it's like it's got to be 3 o'clock your time. You'll never see Bruce there at 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Well, it looks like they on deck with CB probably got out of here. But again, people, I'm assuming they're gonna be putting out some videos shortly from there. It sounds like they're on an Alaskan cruise, on that bucket list cruise. Make sure you get out there and get on your bucket list today. I think that's where I was going with the health. Okay. 62. I'm in a nightclub. Tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow's not promised that you'll be able to do certain things. A little while back, I was diagnosed with a paralyzed diaphragm. Not in any pain, anything like that, but only one of my lungs work. So the diaphragm that lets it expand and let the lung expand doesn't work. So I operate with one lung. So that means I don't have the wind that I used to. So when I'm walking, I'll have to take a break. Not like some old timers. I can still get around. I'm in no pain and things like that. But I'm very conscious of it. Walking on the Jubilee is not going to be a problem because I mean I can go the length of the ship without worrying about it, especially if it's a drink involved. So, but again, your health is not promised. So get out there and enjoy life. While you can, while you have your health. Health is a blessing. It's not guaranteed. Get out there and make memories with your families, because you never know. You just never know what might happen. Family can move away. I mean, again, you can't see your family like you want to. Get out there and enjoy life while you can. Everybody speaking to Bruce. Embarkation Nation thinks they are on the Spirit right now. I did Spirit to Alaska, not recently, but I did it. No, I did the Legend. I did Carnival Legend. It wasn't the Spirit. I did Carnival Legend to Alaska. Man, they're gonna have a great time. And now he's talking about going on an excursion. Now I'm gonna have to check him out to see. Don't forget, if you're looking for this noise is killing me. If you're looking for an excursion to Alaska, Embarkation Nation and Ocean to Ocean, they're hosting a group cruise June 15th, 2025. Plenty of time you put your down payment now. You got plenty of time to pay on it. You probably have a small deposit to hold your cabin. You might not be able to pick your cabin, but you'll be able to hold your space. I think those Alaskan trips sell out fast because it's the end thing now. For a lot of people, it is their bucket list. And so they sell out fast, and the excursions sell out very fast. So, once you book your cruise, I would start looking at excursions immediately or what you want to do, because there's going to be tons of them. And it depends on what you want to do. I recommend the helicopter ride. Very expensive. The helicopter ride was probably $600. But again, once in a lifetime. Did I do? I don't think I think that was the only excursion I did the entire trip. Most of the other ones were visiting the towns and things like that. So I spent on this time. I've done whale watching trips before, but this time it was just that one trip, that one excursion. But Destination Fun did not drop her link. Hold on 1 second, people. Don't leave yet. Don't leave. You're not entitled to leave yet. We are not leaving. We are not leaving. We are not leaving. Aw, happy birthday, Cash. Copy. Got it. Okay, everybody. Oh, controversial cruising dropped it. Defund. Defund. If I could spell and type, it would help me out. And there we go. Yep, that's the one. Scott posted it for me. If we can all go, if we could all get ready to go over there, she's on now. She's probably not live now. Let's all go over there and visit her. She needs watch hours, people. She's on a grind to get 4,000 watch hours. She's on a grind. Um, one of these days, she's gonna get to 3,000 and things like that. And you got Embarkation Nation looking for watch hours. So we're gonna help them. We're gonna help them get their hours so they can become monetized and all the other good stuff. So one of these days, they're gonna get there. Coming up soon. She's the next of the family members to get there, along with Embarkation Nation. Mike Clock is there. I was lucky enough to make it. Betty's there. So let's all go over there, show some support, stay there and watch for a while. If you can't stay, make sure you leave it running in the background. So just so she can get the hours. Let's help her out. So everybody, I am going to get ready to get out of here. I'm going to sign off for now. Oh, hold on. She's having technical difficulties. But go over there. She'll be right there. She's gonna be there in a couple seconds. So go over there, and we are going to end this live right now. Good night, everybody.